Imagine dropping behind enemy lines on the eve of D-Day, tasked with a mission that will decide the fate of the entire free world. But as you navigate the shadows of occupied France, you realize the enemy isn't just building fortresses, they are tampering with the laws of life and death to build something truly monstrous. Today, we are breaking down the relentless action horror thriller, Overlord. Our story begins on June 5, 1944, aboard a chaotic, heavily vibrating military transport plane flying straight into the jaws of Nazi-occupied Normandy. We meet our protagonist, Private Boyce, a gentle, idealistic young soldier who has been thrust into the absolute brutal reality of war. Boyce is part of a specialized paratrooper squad sent on a time-critical mission. They must infiltrate a small French village called Ciel Blanc and destroy a powerful radio jamming tower built on top of an old church. If they fail to take the tower down by dawn, the Allied forces landing on the beaches for D-Day will have zero air support, resulting in a total massacre. The tension inside the plane is thick enough to cut with a knife, but before the soldiers can even hook up their parachutes, absolute hell breaks loose. Out of nowhere, a massive barrage of German anti-aircraft flak tears through the sky, shredding the transport plane to pieces. Within seconds, the cabin transforms into a blazing metal furnace of screaming men and tearing metal. Boyce is violently thrown out of the disintegrating aircraft, plunging headfirst into a chaotic night sky, filled with falling debris and blinding tracer fire. Landing heavily in a swamp, he narrowly avoids enemy patrols executing the surviving jumpers. Miraculously, Boyce manages to regroup with a tiny handful of survivors from his unit. The cold, battle-hardened explosives expert Corporal Ford, a sharp-tongued sniper named Tibbet, and Chase, a naive military photographer. With their commanding officer dead and their equipment scattered across the French countryside, Ford takes absolute command, forcing the traumatized men to press on toward the village. While navigating the dense, heavily guarded woods, the soldiers are suddenly ambushed by Chloe, a fierce local French woman who has been scavenging for resources. Recognizing that they share a common enemy, Chloe agrees to smuggle the Americans past the heavy Nazi checkpoints and into the village. She hides the ragtag group in the dusty attic of her house, which sits directly in the shadow of the heavily fortified church tower. As they settle in, the soldiers quickly realize that this town is suffering under a shadow far darker than standard military occupation. Chloe lives with her innocent 8-year-old brother, Paul, and an aunt whose face has been horrifyingly disfigured and mutated. Chloe reveals that the local villagers are regularly dragged into the church by Nazi doctors, and the few who ever return are permanently broken and altered. When the main antagonist, a sadistic SS captain named Waffner, performs a routine inspection of Chloe's home. Waffner is a textbook bully who uses his absolute authority to terrorize the locals. He quickly sends his guards away and begins brutally coercing Chloe, threatening to send her little brother to the church to be fixed if she doesn't comply with his horrific advances. Unable to watch the abuse from the floorboards any longer, Boyce overrides Ford's strict orders to stay hidden. He breaks cover, triggering a brief, silent, and incredibly tense scuffle that ends with Ford and Boyce successfully overpowering and capturing the Nazi commander, tying him up in the shadows of the house to keep him quiet. With Waffner held hostage, Tibbet and Chase leave the house to scout the perimeter, while Boyce is sent into the fields to look for their missing rendezvous team. Instead of finding American soldiers, Boyce stumbles upon a deeply disturbing sight. In the dead of night, he witnesses Nazi soldiers unloading heavily mutated, twisted bodies from the back of a truck and throwing them into a massive, roaring incinerator fire. Before Boyce can process the horror, a vicious German guard dog catches his scent. In a desperate, frantic bid to hide, Boyce scrambles into the back of a departing military cargo truck, burying himself beneath a tarp filled with lifeless bodies, which unknowingly drives him straight into the highly restricted underground complex beneath the church. The truck passes through heavy blast doors, and Boyce slips out into the secret underbelly of the fortress. The laboratory is a subterranean nightmare, filled with rows of sterile medical tables, hanging hooks, and large industrial vats holding a thick, ancient black fluid discovered deep beneath the church's foundation. As Boyce cautiously creeps through the corridors, he discovers the horrific extent of the Nazi experiments. Scientists are using a volatile, glowing red serum derived from the fluid to reanimate the dead, aiming to create an immortal, pain-resistant army for a 1,000-year Reich. Horrified by the sights, Boyce manages to locate and rescue Rosenfeld, another missing member of his paratrooper squad who was strapped to a table awaiting execution. Snatching a syringe of the mysterious red serum, Boyce and Rosenfeld narrowly escape the facility through a flooded sewer pipe. Back at the attic, a breathless Boyce reveals the existence of the bioweapon lab to a stunned Ford, slamming the glowing red syringe down onto the table. Waffner, still tied to a chair, lets out a sickening, confident grin, refusing to explain what the serum truly does, but warning them that they are already far too late to stop what has been unleashed. With the D-Day invasion clock ticking down to its final hours, the squad realizes their mission is no longer just about blowing up a radio tower. They are standing on top of a biological plague that could end humanity. As they gear up for a desperate, final suicide assault against the fortified church, the ultimate question hangs in the dark air. How do you defeat an army that can't be killed? To find out what happens next, you'll have to watch Overlord.